Welcome back to RealVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith, and I just got a comment in one of the previous videos from Danny Holdaway. Let's pull it up. So Danny says, or Deny, I'm not sure. Holdaway says, "Hey Luke, you do a great work. I started watching your videos, and I'm looking for some real cheap land. So I was wondering if you could do one on North Carolina because I haven't seen one for there yet. Keep up the good work. It is all appreciated. It's all appreciated. Thank you, Deny Holiday." This is like an hour ago or maybe an hour and a half ago now that I clipped the thing. I uh I got one, North Carolina. Before I jump into that, maybe I tell a little story because I like telling stories. I bought, I don't know, half dozen properties off of this guy, and who needed money. Got a mailer off one of my cash offers in California or somewhere. I made a cash offer, and he had properties all across the country. He doesn't want to pay a tax on them, doesn't want to keep track of them, wants to get rid of them, and doesn't wants to sell them all in one transaction. It's like, who the heck buys properties in half a dozen states and all over the place? I said, yeah, sure, I'll do them. I know how to do all the paperwork, and I'm scratching my head. I hope I know how to do the paperwork because one of them's in North Carolina, and I never bought property there before, and one of them was in Texas, and I never bought property there before, and I didn't know how to price it. I couldn't even find the property in Texas. It was like I called everybody I know. Nobody could help me find the property in Texas. So I offered the guy some cash price that was like, if he sells it to me, okay. If not, whatever. And not being able to find the one in Texas and the one in North Carolina, I didn't have any access. It was like in a neighborhood with no access. He said, okay, no one will buy the properties from me. Okay, you'll actually buy them. You do the paperwork. Cool. So I bought the properties. And so I got one in North Carolina with no access, and I got one in Texas I couldn't find. One in North Carolina, I was able in like really old records, found what I thought was an easement, and I got it confirmed with a neighbor and got it recorded and stuff. So I got an easement to the property, and I figured out the zoning and figured out what kind of uses you could do. I put it up for sale, and it was sold like not very much longer, a couple days later or something. It's like, cool, it's the first deal I ever did in North Carolina. I copied other people's paperwork and other recorded deeds, recently recorded deeds, to figure out how to do the paperwork and pulled it off, and everybody was happy. The buyers were dancing. They couldn't believe they got land so cheap. And I sold it for like, I don't know, 30 or 40 times what I bought it for. Because they had no access, and I figured out how to get access for it, and there, solved the problem. Price went way up. And it wasn't that much money. It's a couple $1,000, right? And then the one in Texas, I sold to a guy in California, and one of the subscribers, I don't remember if he was watching videos or what, but one of the guys figured out how to find the property for me. After I was trying everywhere to find the property, he finally found it for me and figured it out and what kind of surveys and stuff, and got maps of it and described the location and everything, and put it up for sale, and it was sold in like a couple days. And the guy that bought it, he was happy. He took off with it. I don't think he was going to actually use it. I'm not sure. He's just going to store it away or something. And then a month later, I got a call from an oil company. The oil company said, we've been looking for the owner of that property for over 10 years. We haven't been able to find him. We haven't been able to figure it out. And we want to put a pipeline through the property, and they've been trying forever. They've been trucking oil through there, and they want to put a pipeline through there and can stop using trucks. And that's the last property they need to be able to put the pipeline in there. So I set him up with the buyer of the property, and I'm sure he made out like crazy. I don't know if he sold him the property or sold him rights to put a pipeline through there or what, but I bet you he made a lot of money off of it. So everybody won. The guy that sold the land that nobody could figure out, and he got cashed out. He was happy. I figured out, solved a couple of problems, put the stuff up for sale, made other people happy. And that was the first deal I ever did in North Carolina. And I haven't really gone back since. So I was looking on the website. Sure enough, there's another one in North Carolina. And this one is brought to you by Jason Lydiard. So roundabout way of saying, here's some more North Carolina. And thank you, Deanie, or what was the name? Danny. Danny Holdaway, for making me look back at North Carolina. So here's the property. Jason's asking $14,900 cash, or $1,000 down, and $499 a month for 48 months. So he's offering owner financing, and he knows the North Carolina market a lot more than I do. I don't really know this market. It's Jason's phone number is 760-664-2436, and the area of the property is just over an acre. And he's got it on here as the APN ID number. For me to be able to pull it up, I had to put dashes in between the spaces, but I don't know what systems you pull them up on. And I just made a map of this thing. And I was making the map before I really started studying. I'm like, oh gosh, look at this neighbor. You got a brand new house next door with a pool. You got fenced in lawn chairs and stuff, and then you got a creek in the back. It's like, man, Jason got a good property here. I can't compete with that guy. It's nothing like my access list ridiculous property in the neighborhood. There's power lines over here. It looks like they buried the power lines on this street. Let's see if I can yeah, so it kind of moves around with the imaging and the GPS, but it goes from the street to the stream. There's some different fields in the area, and this neighbor house, it just looks like they're really taking advantage of the beauty of this area. Might be not sure. The rightful owner of this thing should be the neighbor, so you don't go build next to them. But let's take a look. I think it seems like they would have. There's no street view here. Thought we could do some street view. No street view. Next street over, we can see what the trees look like in the next street over. Just a good looking solid trees in the area. This is the next street over. But what Jason did is he sent somebody over there to get some drone shots of it. So this creek comes down and goes to the lake. There's a bunch of fancy houses, pools and stuff, docks and things on the lake. I'm sure there's a place to store your boat on the lake. Get a boathouse, rent a place, drive down the street, go drive your boat all over the lake. So let's look at what Jason put together on this thing. He put a video together. I'm going to drop my head off the screen here and play this. See if I can get it to work. Sorry about the dogs. My neighbor's dogs are being weird. But look at this. Look at the trees on this thing. Solid trees on a paved road. It's a little bit of a hill there between the road and the stream in the background. Oh, my computer's trying to keep up. Yeah, look at that. So it's like almost a private driveway coming back in here. No wonder the neighbor built a house back here. Nice, just peaceful, quiet area. Good looking pine trees. And the stream in the back. We'll see if this video will keep up with us. Might not keep up. There we go. 6042 Plantation Point Drive. Jason Lydiard, the owner of this, he's usually pretty good at answering the phone, or his partner Trevor Hartstock. They can answer questions on this. Looks like they got a bunch of photo, video of the property. Let's go forward a little bit. So here's a stream in the background. Behind the property there's a stream. So they got a drone shot of that. I think it pans around to the area too. It's not totally loading. Let's just let's close that one down if I can figure out how. Okay, so there's the property. He's asking $14,900 cash, or $1,000 down, $499 a month for 48 months, and just over an acre. That looks like a beauty. So thank you to Danny Holdaway for having me go look at North Carolina and showing you this North Carolina property. Maybe that's the right one for you. That's pretty cheap, $14,900 for a nice looking lot in an area like that. It's not very far from Asheville. Let's pull up the maps. Well, let's see if we got a map. Here's a map. Show you where it's at. So here's a creek in the background. There's the neighbor next door. There's a bunch of lots along here. Yeah, so here's Asheville. And if you don't know Asheville, I mean, Asheville has been really hipstering it up with all kinds of restaurants and cheap mountain or foothills of the mountains living. Lots of YouTube channels have been coming alive. It seems to be like where you go to raise kids and take advantage of generally lower prices and nice people and good weather. And it seems to be just happening. It's like getting regentrified in lots of different ways. So it's not too far from there. But if you're from North Carolina, I'm sure you know more about this than I do. So there's North Carolina property. I'll put a link down below so you can take a look at it and see if that's the right one for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com.